Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. This is Danielle, and I'm just taking you through an afternoon of doing some canning. I do my pressure canner and my water bath canner this afternoon, and I wanted to bring you along in case you're a little timid about maybe the pressure canner. It is so easy and simple. It just takes a couple times getting you going through the motions to understand what you need to do, and then you don't have to think about it as much. So the first project we're going to work on is canning up some beans in quart jars. Okay, to all 7 jars of clean canning jars, wide mouth canning jars, I put like a cup and a half of rinsed beans. I'm going to, it's not exact measurements, it's kind of just like between a quarter and a third of the container. I will now add water so they can soak overnight, and a little bit of acid. I think I'll use lemon juice because I'm running kind of low on my apple cider vinegar, but you could do that too, or regular lemon juice, regular white vinegar too. Okay, so we had our beans setting overnight, soaking with the lemon juice. I went ahead and used this little strainer thing and rinsed off the beans and put them back in. So that's 7 quarts, and I went ahead and washed up 7 lids and 7 screw tops, whatever. The pressure canner is going to sanitize these, so we do not need to like hot and steep or anything. No hot water, just hot soapy water to wash. No like boiling water. And I am going to fill these up to within 1 inch headspace, which is right there, with water, and then 1 teaspoon of salt per quart jar. And then in my canner I have 2 to 3 inches of water, and I actually still have that off because I'm going to be cold packing these, so they're not going to be hot, so I need them to all get hot at the same time, not putting cold jars into a hot canner. So that's what I'm doing next. Okay, 1 inch of headspace. Now I'm going to add my salt. We're also going to need to, not also, this will mean that we need to pressure can for 90 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure is what I need to be at for my elevation. You need to look that up and make sure with you where you are located. I'm just going to wipe the rims and add my lids and jars to finger tight, which that just means you're not supposed to like crank it down. So this is finger tight. Only using your finger, not the wrist and palm and squeezing hard. Oh, you know what I didn't do? We need to make sure that there is no extra air bubbles. I didn't think about that. So use your little, this is like I think someone called it a pokey toe. It looks like a foot with a pokey toe on it. To get the air bubbles out real fast. And while this is processing, it takes 90 minutes for me to do these quarts. This is one of my longest processing times I ever have is 90 minutes, which seems so long. So I have an All-American canner, and I'm just going to be listening for it to make it sound. So I'm going to put these in. I have my rack at the bottom, and I have between 2 and 3 inches of water. I'm going to put all of my jars in, and they're not hot, right? And my water's not hot. Nothing is hot yet. They will all come up to pressure and to heat together at the same time. And I'm back and forth about whether to add vinegar to my water. I do have hard water, and if I'm pressure canning without a little splash of vinegar, I will get a white film all over my canning jars, which makes you just need to clean it. You need to wipe it off. And if I don't, that's what happens if I don't add vinegar. If I do add vinegar, I feel like it is causing my rings and my lids to rust really, really fast. That, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's worth it or not to save me from the hassle. Oh, this would not have sealed. It has a chink in my jar, so I'm going to have to go grab another jar for that one. So I found another wide mouth jar. I'm going to go ahead and fill that back up. All right, this will be my last jar now. I'll wipe the rim. So yes, that's a really good thing to be watching for while you are wiping the rim off of your jar to make sure nothing is going to interfere with your seal. Make sure that you have no chinks or nicks in your in your lids. So this is my first time canning with the pressure canner for several months. So I'm going to go ahead and my All-American canner has a metal on metal seal. So I'm going to run a little bit of oil on the outside, or not the outside, but the top lid and right on the inside of this. It's not going to go into my food at all, but it will help ensure a good seal. You don't need to do that every time, but since it's been so long for me, I am going to do that. And I'm just using my avocado oil because that's what I always have on hand. I'm not sure if it matters, but that's just what I have really handy. So, okay. I'm going to go ahead and start heating this up. I am still waiting for my canner to get up to pressure, but I was totally inspired the other day by Ruth Ann Zimmerman. I will leave her YouTube. I watch her YouTube videos, and she had pineapple zucchini, so like a faux pineapple canning recipe. I have also seen it, I think, this 1870s Homestead. I think she's done it before, but I was totally inspired by them to use up this zucchini that is now coming out of the garden in droves to do the fake faux zucchini or faux pineapple recipe. So I'm going to, I've already found 7 pints. I washed them up and checked for chinks. And my lids, I washed my lids, and I still need to get some rings. But I'm going to go ahead and wash with cold water my... I'm going to wash with cold water my zucchini, and then I'm going to take the skin off. I'm going to peel the skin off to give to our chickens, and then I'm going to dice it up. Okay, so I'm seeing steam come up through here. It needs to be continuous, and then you can start the timer for 10 minutes, and then we can add our weight. So I'm going to let this go for just a few more minutes, and then I'm going to add the 10 minutes to my timer. I'm going to show you how I have this set up. I'm going to chop the tops off, and I have a bowl in my sink to go to my chickens, and then I will also do, I will skin them, because I have heard that that does not have a great texture. So this is my first time canning the zucchini like this. I don't ever can zucchini. The only way I preserve zucchini is to make it into zucchini noodles and then dehydrate the noodles. And I've done that for several years. That's probably our only way we've ever preserved them and liked them. I don't think I've ever even tried canning. I know we don't like slimy textured zucchini, so I'm excited to see if my family appreciates this. Doing it the way Ruth Ann does, where she says it's not going to turn to mush, is, I hope, going to be a winner. I really think it will be. So now I'm going to get my peeler. Okay, that job is done. I'm going to start cubing or dicing up these these zucchini and putting them in my pint jars. Okay, my timer has gone off. This has been steaming now for 10 minutes. I'm going to add my pressure gauge on to the 10 pounds of pressure. And then we're going to let that pressure build up now to 10. I have condensation from where I was storing this right here, so I hope you can see it. If not, I will just be waiting till it gets up to 10. Okay, this has now came up to 10 pounds of pressure. We added our pressure gauge. It is rocking back and forth. So I keep my stove on about between 6.5 and 7, which is like medium to high right there. And the timer is on now for 90 minutes for these beans. So my kitchen was very loud now because I have my pressure canner on. So while that pressure canner is going with the beans, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar to each of our pint jars, and also 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. The lemon juice is extremely important. If you are going to be water bath canning, it has to have a high acid food. So that is what's going to ensure the safety of this pineapple zucchini, is that lemon juice. So once that is done, we're going to also top off up to 1 inch below the rim pineapple juice in each of our pints, and that's going to give it its flavor. The zucchini will take on the flavor of what you're cooking it with. So this is going to be our faux pineapple zucchini. We are also going to wipe the rims of each pint jar and add a lid and screw top that are both just washed with hot soapy water. You don't need to sterilize anything, it'll be fine. And then I'm adding that to my canner because all of this is room temperature. I have not heated up anything that I'm put in my jars. I start my canner completely at room temperature too. I just added room temperature water to my canner for my water bath canner, and I was given this tip by Ruth Ann Zimmerman, by the way, give her credit, to only add liquid up to the product line when you're water bath canning. And I'm sure that is a great tip. I have been doing that now since I heard her say that. So I added water that was room temperature up to the product line of my cans once I had them loaded into my canner. And then we start our process time once that comes up to a boil. So it's 25 minutes once it starts to boil, and then it is finished. Timer has gone off for our zucchini, pineapple zucchini, whatever you'd want to call it. So we are going to go ahead and lift these out. That was 25 minutes in a water bath canner. And thank goodness I went ahead and got this out. I was going to just use my pressure canner as a water bath canner afterwards, but it's still going. So now my beans are done. They are just cooling off now. The burner is off, and I'm waiting for pressure to come down before I can actually even get those out. So these were much later, already finished. I'm going to go ahead and take them all the way out and put them up on my counter. I've already heard a couple jars pop and seal. Okay, we are going to leave these undisturbed on the counter for 24 hours or sometime tomorrow. We will make sure the seals have all sealed, and then we will put them in storage. Pressure gauge is down to 0. We can go ahead and take that off, and it will be hot. And then you can start untwisting these. Give it about 10 more minutes, and then we'll pull the lid off. Actually, go ahead and lift a little bit. There you go. I'll pull those out in about 10 minutes. If you do it right now, the change in temperature from the canner to the counter will be so much that you might have siphoning. So let it cool for a little bit longer. So while those are cooling off, I'm going to come outside here and pick my chamomile. I'm going to put chamomile in the house for our winter teas. We're going to let them dry. And I have some beautiful bee balm. I haven't started yet, but probably in my next video, we are going to make some tincture for that. Okay, it has been over 24 hours now. I have checked the seal by unscrewing all of the rings. Take off all the rings, and I lift it by the lid, each and every one, and make sure that it is sealed properly. I need to label and put them in storage. But this is what happens if I've actually already wiped these off. These were the beans. This is what happens. I can't really get that hard water staining off, but I think I'd rather that than have my rings rust so quickly, because I reuse my rings. So we got 7 quarts of beans, and we've got, let's see, 9, 10, 11. I ended up with 11 pints of this pineapple chunks. So I think that was a great success. Thank you for coming along with us. That was a great afternoon. I am excited about this faux pineapple because we get a lot of zucchini and we don't really know what to do with it. So the other ways that I use zucchini is as noodles. I have a zucchini spiralizer. I'm sure you're going to see it if you are with me through the preserving season. And then we dehydrate those and use them. And then we have shredded zucchini also. But I did find a recipe that I want to try from Hope's Table, the cookbook. It's not handy, but she has a chocolate cake recipe that uses zucchini. So that will probably be on my list to do this next coming up week. So let me know what you have in your canners this season now that we are starting the preservation season. Also, I had showed you that we got some of our chamomile out of the garden. I'm letting that dry. This could take up to several days depending on how much moisture is in there. I don't think it'll take very long, and we're going to get a stockpile of that for winter teas. So God bless. I speak Jesus over you. Bye.